Okay, let's picture this. You've got a country, Liberia, where many people are really struggling. We're talking widespread poverty, lots of unemployment stuff.
Hmm. A difficult economic reality for sure.
Exactly. Now, set against that, you look at the national legislature, and the amount of public money being spent is, well, it's truly
A
staggering.
real contrast.
That's the heart of our deep dive today. We're going into the official government financial records for the Liberian Legislature, specifically fiscal years 2024 through 2025.
Right.
Our mission really is to unpack exactly where all this public money is actually going. Okay, let's get into it.
Yep.
So the official documents show a combined projection and allocation of, get this, U.S. $108,221,842.
Wow. Over 108 million.
For the legislature alone, across just those two fiscal years. And if we zoom in on just 2024, that single year clocked in at U.S. $63,877,136.
64 million in 1 year.
Yep. And what jumps out right away is that a huge chunk of this initial amount goes towards salaries and benefits for a surprisingly small group, just 103 lawmakers.
Yeah, that's what's really fascinating here. You see these massive figures, and then you place them against that backdrop we mentioned, the poverty, the unemployment faced by ordinary Liberians. It's stark.
It really is.
I mean, you just take that 2024 allocation, rough calculation. It averages out to over $600,000 per lawmaker for the year, when you include all the related costs.
Over $500,000 per person.
It immediately makes you ask, what does this kind of spending signal about the nation's priorities?
That's exactly why we need to dig into the specifics of that 2024 spending, because this is where it gets really interesting. Some eye-opening figures here.
Okay.
For starters, the direct salaries for the lawmakers themselves, U.S. $12,378,671.
12.4 million. Just salaries.
Just salaries. Then add another U.S. $8,593,721 just for their personal staff salary.
By the support staff.
And it keeps going. Fuel and lubricants for their vehicles, U.S. $4,587,995.
And nearly 4.6 million on fuel.
Uh-huh. And maybe one of the most striking ones, U.S. $369,100 set aside for entertainment and gifts.
Entertainment and gifts.
Plus, you've got significant amounts for new vehicles, various types of travel, these daily sustenance allowances the DSA people talk about.
Right, for daily expenses on trips.
Exactly. Constituency visits, operational services. The list is quite long.
When you look at those categories, things like the fuel, nearly $370,000 for entertainment.
Yeah.
Especially in a developing economy context.
Yeah.
It does raise questions about, efficiency and maybe the perceived purpose of these funds.
Definitely.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like how the money was spread across the different parts of the legislature in 2024, the House of Representatives used the most. U.S. $39,703,830.
Almost $40 million for the House alone.
Yeah, the lion's share. The Senate wasn't small change either, though. They spent U.S. $19,470,322.
Okay.
This kind of breakdown really shows you where the financial weight is within the legislature, doesn't it? And just for more context, the Speaker of the House's office, that specific office, spent over $2 million, U.S. $2,022,425.
$2 million for one office.
And the Senate Pro Tempore's office, about U.S. $1,406,920. Even the Deputy Speaker's office spent around U.S. $1,273,650.
So it's clear this pattern isn't like a one-time thing, because when we look ahead to the 2025 budget, there's another U.S. $44,344,706 allocated just for the legislature.
Maintaining that high level.
Right. So putting all this together, what does this mean for you? Maybe someone tracking global economics or governance?
Well, I think this consistent, very high level of spending documented in their own records, it really poses an important question for you to think about. How are public funds like these prioritized? Yeah. And how are they justified when you have these ongoing, challenging economic conditions for so many citizens? The tension is right there in the numbers.
It really is. So in essence, our deep dive into Liberia's own official government records shows this really substantial financial commitment to its legislature. A commitment that seems sharply different from the day-to-day economic reality for a lot of its people.
Exactly. And maybe that leaves you with a final thought. What do spending patterns like these really tell us about governance? About resource allocation, accountability, particularly in developing nations?
Good question.
And how might different choices, different approaches to managing public money, how might that actually shape a country's future and, the well-being of its population?
Yeah.
Something to definitely mull over.